Well, excited to be here and chat. All things marketing, viral, community, content. Do you want to just give a quick 30-second intro of yourself as if you're bragging on a college application?
Oh gosh, this is my least favorite part, Nick. I'm Sarah Zurell. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've founded 2 companies. I've sold one of them. I shut one down because if you're not trying new things, you're not failing. I was the first hire at a Google Ventures company. Now I have a corporate job at Chinese Laundry, which has been really fun. And I've gotten to come in and essentially revitalize brands that were otherwise starting to die. I'm sure you guys remember Chinese Laundry from back in the day. When you're going to prom, and they've lacked marketing leadership for about 17 years. So I've gotten to come in and essentially take everything apart and put it all back together. And I'm excited to share some learnings with y'all.
Hi, I'm Isaac. 3 years ago, I started a sword brand that has scaled to 1 billion views a month on YouTube, and that's how we acquire all of our customers. Does about 8 figures, and recently I launched a freeze-dried candy company that's also going incredibly viral. It's nice to meet all of you. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, so Sarah, you actually mentioned that you cut all of your paid marketing and basically all paid efforts recently. Could you talk about how you view the role of organic within your marketing mix, especially now that you've cut paid?
Yeah, so I essentially was reviewing all the data and looking at our analytics, and it looked like all of our traffic was coming from paid. And so I decided that I wanted to cut it, which sounds crazy, but I needed to get an organic baseline so that we could recenter and focus on building the organic traffic. And so it's actually been really successful for us because now we're able to have a better understanding of it, and I feel like it was a good decision. We also replatformed. So the other reason why I did it at the time that I did it is because we replatformed from Salesforce to Shopify, and I didn't want to be spending money when we were having issues on our site.
Totally. And what about you, Isaac?
What was the question?
Basically, the role of organic marketing for you, it's I believe 100%.
I mean, it's the whole business.
Yeah.
We're like, I think we're a media first company, but we're more like a creator at this point. Like that's at first, I don't know if everyone knows the story, but I started with letter openers. That's why it's called Mini Katana. Like the first product was literally a samurai themed letter opener, and I launched on Meta, so it actually worked. ROAS was positive. Facebook banned it because it's like, it's a weapon apparently. So I was like, dude, I maxed out my credit cards. Like I was broke. I was like, I have all this inventory. Let's just roll up our sleeves and figure this out. Around the time, this is early 2021, I was a user of TikTok, and I kind of just posted like some silly TikTok videos, and I was just out of desperation because I was trying Snap, Pinterest, every other, attention arbitrage you could think of to get some sales. And the first video like led to 1 sale. I was just like, what's happening here? Like, I don't understand why people are buying this from this video. And then I remember the 3rd video sold out my stock. So it was just like this very lucky moment, but we were also trying every single platform at the time. And now what we do is just a very extreme version of that, right? Where we've taken that learning, year 1, where, hey, this works on TikTok. Let's move it over to YouTube and like scale it. And that's why we're able to get so much attention, because we just do a very scaled version of that. So it's the whole business. It's how I run all my businesses.
And do you run any paid even outside of Meta for Mini Katana?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried actually, but it doesn't have an impact on the business. And I think that's because like we hit several hundred million eyeballs already uniquely a month. So it's like, we're not hitting new people. Like there's no net new people in Meta that are not seeing us on YouTube or TikTok.
Right. And how did you, like when you were starting with the content, how did you think about what leads to the content that you create? Because getting to 700 million views is not by accident or by doing a founder video.
Yeah, I mean, there are some really important things to know about social content in particular, especially YouTube. It's a long-term flywheel game. So like, you need to give enough effort to get some traction. And the longer you do it and the more you build around those systems, the bigger your result will be in the long run. Like that's like how Mr. Beast has been able to add so many more subs in the last few years than he ever did before. Because it's so exponential, right? But the way I think about it is it's all creator based. So we hire really talented people, and it's like talent management, right? Like you're trying to convince these people, hey, you're amazing creators. Like you're gonna work for me because this is the best possible outcome for you right now. And then we build systems around those people. Typically, that looks like maybe like an editor, a content CMS that they can play with, and then like a script writer to support in terms of ideas. But that's how I think about it. It's just it all starts at the content creators level.
And Sarah, with Chinese Laundry and actually all the 4 brands that you guys have, how do you guys think about the role of content creators?
It's the most important part as well for us. We gift shoes at nauseum. We don't pay creators, which is something I'm trying to address so that we can kind of go in deeper with those relationships. But the content that feels organic and that is just a girl having a good time wearing shoes that we gifted her sells more shoes than anything else. So now we're getting permission to then amplify those posts, but building that consistent creator economy with our partners is the thing that's been able to actually move the needle for us and grow our business.
Totally, yeah. We've always seen that with our clients. If we whitelist the best creator content, the ROAS can sometimes just double.
Yeah, because you have to keep people engaging on the platforms.
Totally.
Or you're going to get banned.
Yeah.
And so, and we also encourage our content creators to engage with people on their actual post about the product and ask questions. And we've got some very loyal content creators that do that then keep people on platform.
Amazing. Isaac, with the new candy brand, Kanpai, do you use TikTok Shop?
I tried it.
And?
Like anyone here on TikTok Shop? Is it working well for any of you? Okay.
I mean, it's impressive you can even get on it.
Yeah, I mean, like people have approval issues to begin with. Like, it's very rare to see brands crush it on there. I actually looked into we're a candy brand, so it's like, what's the top candy brand on TikTok Shop doing in revenue? And it was like a few $100,000 a month. I'm just like, wow, there's no GMV here to begin with. Like, I'm gonna build a whole team around this and get invested in this, and there's no GMV. But like, forget about all that. Like, there's a bigger looming threat, which is this giant platform risk. And as business owners, like, our goal is to build sustainability and stability long term, right? So it's like, why would I invest time into this when there's such a big risk of it just not existing? And that was even 2 years ago. That's why we pivoted everything to YouTube, because like, I think anybody paying attention could see that TikTok had this massive platform risk attached to it as a business.
So with the content you do create, especially with the new brand now, because now you're building it from scratch, do you have a brand book for Kanpai Foods?
I don't know what a brand book is.
So my question was going to be, when you create content, a lot of times we work with brands, and there's a very strict brand book. There's what they call the sandbox that you can play within, but you step outside the brand book, and that's never going to see the light of day. But how do you think about content differently? Because your stuff is so off the wall. Yeah,
I mean, for Kanpai, it's like the objective is, for YouTube especially, there's only like 3 big winners in a category. Like, I feel like a lot of us watch YouTube, and like, think of like your favorite thing to watch, and then like try to think of more than 3 accounts in that category. Like, a lot of us can't, right? Unless it's like hyper competitive like gaming. My point is, like, I tried to go for the biggest thing. So like, Kanpai's YouTube channel is meant to be a candy YouTube channel. Like, it's just about candy. Like, we're selling a specific type of candy, but we're gonna make videos about every single candy because it's the destination for everyone who loves candy, right? And then we can educate people about our product and there. So that's how we can accrue attention long term and make it into a giant media platform. If it's just about our product, that's just limiting the audience.
And how do you think about attribution of sales when you're putting out such a high volume of content like that?
For mini Katana, it's a lot easier. So everyone talks about TikTok Shop. No one talks about YouTube Shop. YouTube does have YouTube Shops. It's like very early right now, and they just throw out affiliate. But they tell you what the CTR is, clicks, all that good stuff. We have a dashboard. But for the most part, you can't really fully attribute it, especially when I get as many views as I do. When it's a little smaller, like, it's more, proportional. Like, you get 50 million views and sales equal this. When you get to goofy numbers, it like stops mattering. But yeah, I mean, it's basically YouTube Shop.
Got it. And Sarah, as you guys work with content creators, How do you balance the brand guidelines versus the creator being authentic?
I give the creator full reign to be authentic. I don't force them to follow really any rules because I think that it's important for the people who follow these content creators are following them because they love the content creator. And I want it to feel like they're not trying to sell the shoes. I want it to feel like they're having a good time in them. And that, right, it's aspirational, especially on the fashion front. Right? I'm selling a dream. I'm selling who you could be and where you could go and, what shoes you're going to be wearing when you take your life's most important steps. And so that kind of vision and idea, I think, plays into and is best executed when the creator can be 1,000% authentic.
So, can I ask you a question?
You can ask me anything.
When you send them a shoe, what do you say?
We generally we send shoes both through our PR company and through I'm building it out so we can just do it in house as well. But essentially, we reach out to people on Instagram, Facebook.
Just like DMs.
Yeah, we slide into the DMs.
So it feels like really organic, right?
Yeah, we slide into the DMs and we ask them what they like and we ask them if they'd be interested in partnering with us.
Do you have a point in charge of that, or is it all you?
No, it's not on me. I have Ashley, who's a dream, and I would be so sad without her. She does all the outreach and has the conversations, and we befriend them and we say, hey, what sort of shoes do you like? Based on your profile, we think you would really love, these shoes that haven't launched yet. Would you like to be one of the first people to try them? Would you be interested in posting? If you love them, we'd love for you to post about it.
And what would you say the success rate is on this? You reach out to 100 people and you befriend them. How many of them will post for free?
90%.
There you go. You're being authentic. You're reaching out to people, you're taking time.
Yeah,
they're going to notice that.
Getting to know them, having a conversation. And I'm like, hey, I'll give you whatever shoes. These are the shoes that are brand new that I specifically would love to promote. But if there's anything else that you like on the site, just let me know.
That's amazing. Is that what led you to want to create the Laundry Club?
Yeah, so the Laundry Club, we've had one of the metrics that Chinese laundry has not been able to master is in reoccurring revenue and the lifetime value of our customers. And so on the paid side, we were spending so much money just to get that first customer, and then they weren't coming back. So the idea with the Laundry Club is both a mix of influencers, but also allowing real people to sign up online to be a part of it. And then it's basically our loyalty program. But on the influencer side, we are gifting shoes, getting them to post once a month, basically being like, we're going to give you 12 pairs of shoes a year. Just let us know. We're going to send them to you. Let us know what other shoes you want. And then we're going to also do events, and we're going to let our real customers be a part of them and the influencers. So we're bringing people together and having a hybrid of that digital and real life experience.
That's amazing. Isaac, how do you think about community for the brands that you're building?
Yeah, we do something similar with influencers. They don't really matter in terms of audience, but it just reaffirms that we're a real brand when other people are posting about it on your feed. But we have a pretty hefty Discord with 30,000 members, and that's kind of the core of our super loyal customer base. And then outside of that, it's email list is the second to that, basically. I think she has a more in-depth built. You have more built for your community than I do with this loyalty program.
I think that building community around anything is the way to be able to scale it. At Pavement, which was a parking company that I founded, we really, really leaned heavily on community because we had to make parking sexy. We had to make people matter. Why am I going to take the time to make a reservation of where I'm going to park before I leave my house? Oh, because this company is also doing cool things. There's so many opportunities of where you're going to spend your money. So why, right? You have to give your customers a why. And so one of the ways that I have found that to be able to execute that is by building a community around it.
Are you, is it Instagram heavy, everything you're describing?
Yes. Yeah, Instagram. Our TikTok right now is really, really sad. I'm in the process of trying to build it. I just brought somebody on to run it. We are not on TikTok Shop. We haven't been able to get on TikTok Shop. It's so complicated.
I feel like one of the things I've noticed is so short form content came around, and then that was TikTok, and then you had every platform copy TikTok, and then you could just repost everything across every platform, and you'd see it perform. What we've noticed, especially over the last few months, is every platform has grown into its own audience, with its own needs, with its own community, and that doesn't work as well anymore. So you're really nowadays, I think you're really forced to focus on one platform as your core, and that's where a lot of your community will be, and where you're people really see you putting the most effort. And for us, that's YouTube. Our comments are the most engaged on YouTube. You go on Instagram, no one's commenting. Well, it's because they're on YouTube, right? So I think one thing is you kind of have to choose a platform now. That's what I've noticed.
How do you think about the balance between when I think about SoulCycle, for example? Does anybody hear SoulCycle? No one? Okay, yeah, my guy right here. I fucking love SoulCycle. And when I think about the community aspect, SoulCycle doesn't do anything to facilitate anything around community. I think with Mini Katana too, you probably didn't facilitate anything to get those people in the comments over and over again. And so how do you think about the balance between brands that are kind of pushing community on people versus those who are letting communities be built and then maybe facilitating around it, or maybe just not touching it?
I feel like the best products always end up having a community, even if you're not pushing for it. It's just if you push for it, you get a bigger outcome. Look at cool cars, Tesla, the Cybertruck. Now there's Reddit groups, there's parody Twitter accounts. That's a community, and he's not intentionally trying to get people to be in a community for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. If it's a good product, if it's a good brand, if it's SoulCycle, right, which is changing people's lives
every day on the bike.
The company doesn't have to do much. From where I sit with Chinese laundry, it's nobody cared. Nobody cared anymore. And so then that's when the company has to double down in fostering that community and really, watering it so that it can grow. But yeah, a good product and a good brand, companies don't have to work as hard.
Yeah. Do you think there's any secret ingredients that go into building a good community? I always tend to think just trust, time, and content.
You're forgetting authenticity. I guess that's trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Any audience questions before we wrap up? Right here. Outside of Mini Katana?
That were brands first, pure paid heavy first, and then they transition into being creators. Oh. What did you say? Black Rifle Coffee? Yeah, I think that's actually a great one. I feel like they started with marketing stunts. Liquid Death started extreme, right? True Classic. Okay, I feel like the Marquez thing with Ridge, Sean's whole thing is you can either create or buy. I'm just gonna buy the guy, and that's there you go. Now I have a media company, right? So, but I can't think of any examples right now, but I know there's a lot. If you look, just go on TikTok. There's all these random companies. It's amazing how much money is being made by randos out there every day.
Have you ever heard of Strawberry Milk Mob? The ladies know. That's a good one. Yep. Damn. All right.
Elf Cosmetics has done a good job with this.
Yep. Great example. Question over here.
For Sarah, when you're working with the influencers, you're speaking my language. Is there a sweet spot, kind of that size influencer that's receptive to, for trade kind of relationships versus, the ones that already have an agent, for example?
Right, because oftentimes they'll be like, oh, talk to my agent. Let me loop you in. Especially people where our brand is perceived to be much larger than it actually is because we've been around for 40 years. That as far as the number of followers, we haven't really found a sweet spot. We just had a girl who has 2.5 million followers not pass us to her agent and ask for 28 pairs of shoes. And Ashley's like, am I really sending this person 28 pairs of shoes? I'm like, you sure are. Yes, you are sending her 28 pairs of shoes. She's like, but she wants the same boot in every color. And I'm like, no problem. I'm like, that means she's gonna post a lot.
I love your niche, by the way. Like, I feel like some niches have content hacks. Like, trying stuff on is such an easy one.
Yeah, just try it on. Try it on. Talk about where you're gonna go in it. Wear it out. And so I think also it's a little easier in the fashion space than it is with another type of product because it's easier to be able to feel like you stumbled across it or to be like, oh my gosh, I used to wear these shoes. Now they're so cute again. Or this is a new brand that I'm just discovering. So we target anyone that has more than like 3,000 followers with really high engagement that are kind of at the beginning of building their following, all the way up to the 20 millions. I mean, we just had Carly Rae Jepsen wore our shoes on tour. We slid into her DMs. It's like girls are like, oh yeah, I want shoes. But who's gonna say no to shoes? They're so cute.
Yep.
So I appreciate the content creation side and partnering with great creatives. So if you're not doing paid, right, you either value their reach and their kind of posting it, or you kind of take that content and you post it yourself. And if you're not doing paid, you're relying on organic reach, which is really hard to do in Instagram at least these days. So how do you think about getting actually like value out of it?
I only cut paid for about 2 months. So now I'm doing paid again, but I'm doing it to amplify the organic content. And so there's less just ads that look like ads and more amplification of creator content. So it's mixed.
How many of you have like a creator in-house? A lot more than last year.
Yeah.
How do you find that doubling down on organic content increases your selling cycle? So, for example, like a lot of the times you watch content, you watch it for 6 months, then you buy it 6 months later down the line. Do you find that like you have to build up a lot more top of funnel before they start buying?
Yeah, I mean, if we were a normal brand, like, I think that wouldn't necessarily apply as much because, like, you don't have to go extreme like me. You have to get like 10 million views a month, 5 million views a month, and then you run ads against it. And you're like, you're set, right? So, but for us, it's like it could be a year. It's pretty brutal. So our tactic has always been like more views.
Yeah, I feel like in general too, the concept of just putting out good content gets lost in all the dashboards that we're looking at and the direct reporting and the direct ROAS of every single piece of content. But like, a phenomenal example, even to answer your question, if you guys have seen the brand Jolie, the showerhead brand, they put out 10,000 pieces of content every year with creators. And if you ask any girl, it's like, have you heard of Jolie? Yep. Have you bought it? Not yet. I'm on the fence. But it's hard to track that in a dashboard that, some influencer or some content creator made that, 8 months ago.
Nick, I feel like everyone knows the importance of great product now. They didn't 5 years ago, but like everyone knows that now. I think like with how crowded every single online has become for attention, like excellent media is just as important as great product.
Yeah, I agree. And also positioning. Like you look at Jolie's competitors, and they're struggling to run ads that'll get sales. Whereas the reason Jolie does well is because they're positioned in a way that actually aligns with their distribution of creators, which is talking about beauty and wellness and health versus talking about a shower head. All right, I think that's all the time we've got. We'll all be here today, so if you want anything else, come ask or say hi. Thanks.